Hi, my name is Clint Francis. I'm a business coach and I also do mindset coaching. So basically, I can help you increase your sales in your business and also change your mindset or help you change your mindset so you can actually be the person who can accomplish those goals. A lot of time we set goals and we don't follow through with them because we're not the person who would actually accomplish those goals. I also want to thank new subscribers I got. I was on Pat Stedman's show last week and I picked up quite a few new subscribers. Thank you very much for subscribing. The idea with this channel is really, I was in the luxury sales business for 14 years. And so I saw a need and a niche out there for people who have small businesses, mostly who already have a business going, and some people who are new to business, to help them succeed by increasing their sales, because the lifeblood of a business, no matter what it is sales. There's always some form of sales that has to happen. So with that being said, I want to talk about a certain subject today, and that's prospecting for new clients. Now, a lot of people have trouble with this, whether it's you're picking up the phone, which is kind of more of the old days, or you're sending an email to a prospect and it's a cold email. You've never met them, you've never talked with them, and then maybe you met someone at a party or a get together and you exchanged information and you're reaching out to them for the first time. So there's different levels of warmth to a prospect. They could be ice cold people that you reach out to that you've never spoke to, people that you spoke to casually for maybe a few minutes or an hour at a party. And then there's even people that you know maybe socially that you know in other avenues, but they don't really know what you do for business, or they do, but they really don't have an in-depth understanding. So I'm going to talk more about how to find prospects throughout your day. Because I think a lot of people get the mentality that to find a prospect, you have to put it in your mind that says, oh, I'm looking for prospects today. And then you're sending out a getting energy. So when you go to talk to people, you just start going into what you do for work and what you think they need. And you start talking from this place. And it's really a repellent to potential customers because they feel like you want something from them. And you do need to approach people cold, and you do need to find clients that way. Also, social media, which I'm getting into more now, is also going to attract clients because they're going to see me or they're going to see you on camera, and they're going to either resonate with you and your message or they're not. So basically, I'll give you a story. I used to sell art at a high level. So I sold very expensive art. And so I would be sitting in my favorite diner in the town that I was in, which was a big tourist town. And so there'd be a couple sitting next to me at the bar, or an individual, and I'd just strike up a conversation with them and ask them if they're visiting. And usually they would say yes. And I'd say, well, what have you seen so far? And they would tell me, oh, I went skiing, or I did whatever they did. And then I would give them some suggestions of off the beaten path tourist destinations that a lot of people don't see and the locals more know about, like hot springs and stuff like that. It can be anything. And so we build this rapport and conversation. And then eventually, because I'm asking them first, what are you guys up to? So I'm, as Stephen Covey said, I'm seeking first to understand, then be understood. I'm asking them about themselves, and I'm curious about them, and I'm genuinely curious. That's just the kind of person I am. If you're not that way, you could make yourself that way. So the main point of what I'm saying is that when you sit at a bar, at a restaurant after work, or you going to the store, or whatever you're doing out in your day, you can always be prospecting, but you're doing it by adding value to them first. So basically, you're asking about themselves, what they're up to, what they're doing. And especially in a tourist town, it's really easy because people want to know the cool places to go. So I would do that, and then they would say, so what do you do? And I'd say, well, I put beauty in the world. And I wouldn't directly answer their question and say, I sold art, because it's boring. So I'd say, I put beauty in the world. So that just elicits their curiosity even more. Well, what do you mean you put beauty in the world? Well, I take fine art and I help beautify people's homes. Oh, so you sell art? Yeah, cool. So now they're curious and they want to know about me. They're not doing it just to be courteous. They're doing it because they have a real interest. And by telling them indirectly what I do even draws more curiosity out of them. And then they eventually will ask me, well, where do you work? And I'll tell them the name of the gallery. And I'll say, you should stop by and check it out. And they're like, yeah, because we've already connected. We've already built rapport. So now they want to see what I have. So then probably about 50% of the time, if they came by the gallery, I would make a sale. And it can be a small sale all the way to a large sale. But it's interesting that they would come to the gallery, and here I was just sitting at the bar eating dinner after work, and I ended up picking up another customer. So your mindset has to be that you're always prospecting, but not from a place of getting. And if you have that getting energy, it's not going to work very well because it's very repellent to people. It's like a repellent. People don't want to give you something unless you give them something first. It's just kind of the way the world works. And another thing I wanted to mention is that if you reach out to people, like let's say you see someone online and you think you can sell them something, or better yet, you have something that would enrich their life. So I get business contacts all the time. They want to sell me something for my business. And they always lead with, hey, I sell this and I think you need it. It's really a bad strategy. If you're reaching out to somebody and you've never met them before, you should try to build rapport with them first. You don't have to spend a long time doing this, but it's wise to build rapport. So for example, you can send an email and you can kind of make a template around this, but you have to make it personal. So don't just send out email templates to a whole bunch of people. That's also a bad strategy. You want to make it very personal. And if this person is someone you really want as a client or as a customer, then you should take the time to make a personalized email, but it should basically reach out to them and say something like, let's say you saw someone on a video and you think they could use your service, whatever that is, it doesn't really matter. But if you start out saying, hey, I think you should get this, or you should do my service, or you should buy my product, they don't know you from Adam. There's no trust built, so they're probably not going to be interested. So a better way to cold approach a person, a potential client, a prospect that you've never seen or met in person or even online, but you've seen them, add value to them first. Then they're interested in listening to what you have to say. That's the first thing you want to do. So maybe you can mention something you got out of that video. Hey, I watched this video and I really learned this, or I got this out of it, or it really helped me this way. And maybe you can even ask some clarifying questions about a subject they spoke about that you didn't really understand. So you could say, hey, I really liked XYZ about your video, but then I really didn't understand what you meant when you said this. Could you clarify that? And now you're creating rapport, and you've given them a compliment. You've said you've enjoyed the video, you got something out of it, and you're giving them gratitude. And then when you give them gratitude, they're going to feel, according to the law of reciprocity, to give something back to you. So I've actually had this happen, and I want to tell you a bit of a story about what happened. I read a book one time, and the author was kind of complaining, saying, you know, we write these books about personal development, or it doesn't really matter what the subject is. And this is before Amazon became popular and there was reviews you could read. So he said, we don't really know what happens when we write these books. We publish them, we put them out in the world, and we don't really know. We don't get feedback. So I stored that in my mind. And there was a guy, I read his book and it talked about how to become wealthy, but it was a real different angle than a typical book on becoming wealthy. So what I did is that I took this book and I read it and I really got a lot out of it. And then there was things I didn't understand. So I hand wrote him a letter to the address that was in the back of the book, which was his publishing company. And I wrote this letter and I said to him, hey, I really got a lot out of these subjects and you really taught me this. And I'm very grateful for learning these things. But there are a few clarifying questions that I have about these subjects. So then when I asked him those questions in the letter, I mailed it off, forgot about it, and I went on with my life. I received a handwritten letter from him. And at the time, he was 85 years old or so, and it was handwritten with this beautiful cursive writing. And he said, can I use your letter as a testimonial on my website? And in exchange for that, I will give you a half-hour coaching call. And his half-hour coaching call was $500. He was giving it to me for free. So he was giving me value because I gave him value. He could put that on his website because I was saying I was happy with what he wrote. It gave me a value. And then I was asking clarifying questions because there were things I wasn't certain about. So you can see in that example, I gave him my gratitude. He asked if I could give my letter to his website. So really I'm giving him two things. And in return, he was giving me a free coaching call, which was valued at $500. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, leave questions down in the comments, and in a future video, I can clarify what I'm saying. But if you watch this again or think about what I'm saying, it'll start to make sense to you. And then I ended up having him be my mentor for 6 years. And I could say it was one of the most invaluable mentoring experiences I've ever had. And he was a very wealthy commercial real estate owner and coach and taught people how to be wealthy. So my point is, give something before you receive is really the law of the universe. That's how things really work. But most of us as children, we're conditioned to get, gimme. And then it's just a habit that we take out into the world. So remember, if you want to reach out to someone that you've never spoken to, they don't know who you are, give them something. And you'll know what that is in your particular situation. Or if you meet someone at a cocktail party or at a house party or wherever you are, and you get their card or you exchange emails or whatever it is, reach out and remind them, hey, I met you at so-and-so's party, so they can reconnect in their mind that, hey, I already have rapport with this person. I've already met this person. And then say, hey, it was really cool meeting you. I liked your idea about blah, 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 or I like your point of view about blah, blah, blah. So here, once again, you're connecting emotionally, you're building rapport. And then say, hey, I'd like to get together with you on Skype or on the telephone and talk to you about some things. Would you be up for that? Let me know. Best regards, John Doe, or whatever your name is. And keep it short and sweet like that. And then, of course, if you want to know more about this or learn how to do this, you can always, we can always work together and do that. So I just wanted to share that with you today. And since I'm new to this, I'm going to grab my notes here. Like and subscribe if you got some value out of this. If you want to increase your sales in your business, email me at xsellcoach.com. That information is down in the show notes. And leave any questions that you may have in the comments. It'll help me refine what you guys want to learn. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Take care.